So most professionals that come to me say, I write articles in English with no problem. I read them, but it's hard for me to speak. Does this resonate? I know it does. Sometimes we have trouble understanding native English speakers. Sometimes we have trouble articulating words. And that's why in this video, we're gonna learn to master not only English speaking skills, but listening skills as well. They're both so important. The amount of times that I've heard, I just only want to have one-on-one conversations with someone. No. English speaking skills and English listening skills are a partner in crime. So it's good for you to master both. And as an interpreter myself, I make a living out of this, every day. So I know what I'm talking about. Stay tuned. Hello, it's me again, Francisca from English to Thrive. You can follow me here on Instagram. Welcome back to my channel. So this video is so important because you'll finally understand some secrets and tricks for you to understand native English speakers and for you to speak like them. Because I know that sometimes fluency skills and listening skills are hard, especially if you haven't built habits. So, as a professional interpreter and translator myself, I've built life-changing skills because, of course, if I don't understand words that, the speaker is saying, I'm not going to be able to convey the message. So for me, it's so important to hone in listening skills and speaking skills every day. And that's why I'll always say to my students, it's not enough to rely on one-on-one conversations a week. No, you have to build habits. I'm talking about the English confidence method. If you want to book a call to achieve total confidence and fluency in English, you can capitalize on career opportunities coming your way, then the link is below. So as you can see, one of the testimonials from one of my students, he's a tech-savvy, ambitious professional. He says that this method helps you understanding native English speakers in just an amount of weeks and communicating like one. So if you're excited about this video, do not forget to subscribe, like the video so you can reach more people in the algorithm. And let's start with secret number 1. So secret number 1 is something that I call background listening. It is a technique that I invented because in order to master English, you have to live English. You have to live the language. So background listening is a very effective technique because it combines multitasking plus sound. So you could be cooking, you could be writing an email, you could be driving, you could be doing whatever you want, but still you implement sound in English. So you can be listening to a podcast, you can be learning a course, you can be listening to a mentor in English, you can be also listening to music. All of those are things that are going to make you absorb more language in the brain. So throughout the years, I've been able to listen and understand native English speakers because I've immersed myself in an environment. So, for example, even if I'm not living in an English-speaking country, I can understand when I have calls in Zoom, for example, or meetings with native English speakers because I've never lost practice and I've been concerned about living the language. Now, background listening can help you learn more words. And it's very important that as you learn them, as you listen to them, you repeat them. And this is how speaking skills will also improve. Because, for example, if you listen to a new word about your profession in a podcast, it's better that you repeat them out loud so your brain can absorb new words and you can register as well new vocabulary. Now, secret number 2, shadowing. Shadowing is such an effective technique, and it is a technique that I learned when I was studying simultaneous interpreting. And this works like this. You have an audio in English, right? And you repeat word per word. So as you listen to the audio, you repeat the audio. Now I advise that you start small, that you, for example, repeat words in English from an audio of like 15 seconds, no more than 15 seconds, and then you increase the time, 30 seconds and 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I have a whole video where I explain this technique. You can check it out right here. But it is important because not only will this technique will help you listen to more words and new words in English, but it will fill out your brain with words which will make you think more in English. So as you listen, you also work on your fluency skills because you repeat words. And this is a very challenging exercise, but it is just the right amount of challenge that you need to improve. Now, where do you find those audios so you can shadow them? Well, YouTube, you can even like scroll down to my channel, you can find a lot of videos where you can shadow them. You can also on Spotify listen to podcasts and shadow podcasts. You can also be shadowing a course. There are so many courses in learning platforms like Udemy or Thinkific, so you can shadow your mentor. You can also even shadow the lyrics of a song. There are so many ways, so there are no excuses. And let me tell you, you do this exercise for a couple of weeks and you'll see how your fluency increases so much. Now, secret number 3 is working on everyday expressions. There are many professionals that tell me, I feel like I master technical terms. If I'm a doctor, I know that I can repeat those terms because I'm familiarized with them. But for me, it is hard to speak like everyday life conversations. And that's why I created this audio that you can download below that's called Everyday Imitation Audio. So it's composed by lots of phrases you can learn. Phrases like, it's not rocket science, or phrases like, it takes two to tango. Because the reason why you sometimes not understand native English speakers is because they say these types of expressions. And so the way that you will understand more is because you'll learn these phrases and you'll repeat them and you'll memorize them. So next time you're having a conversation with a native English speaker or you're in a meeting, you won't be surprised and you won't be blocked when you hear these types of phrases. I advise that you download the audio, you practice, and you'll see how you'll sound more natural and more fluent in English. Next time you're in a professional interview, for example, imagine talking to a native English speaker and then sleeping these kinds of expressions. You'll feel so confident and you'll probably get that job. I'm pretty sure of it. Now, a little exercise for you. Next time that you watch a show or that you watch a series or maybe that you watch a talk show on YouTube or a comedy series, pay attention to expressions. And not only pay attention to those, but note them down, and then in a conversation, try and use them because practice makes perfect. Now, another video that you can watch is this one where you can learn everyday expressions to sound more professional and assertive. And most of all, be open to learning new expressions because the more that you learn, the more that you will work on your listening skills and your speaking skills. Secret 4 is intensive listening. Now, we already talked about background listening, which is a combination of you multitasking and listening to sounds in English. Now, intensive listening is an exercise where you don't multitask. You really listen to an audio intently, intensively, preferably with headphones. So grab a couple of headphones and you are listening to a podcast. And you not only listen, but you pay attention intently to grammar structures that are being used. Maybe you're listening to present or past or the ing form or past perfect, and you analyze structures, you analyze the tone, you analyze the intonation of the words, you analyze the sound, you analyze the pronunciation. Okay, you can do intensive listening with not only podcasts but new songs. And I know it's very hard to be distracted with, like, when you listen to a song, you're probably just listening to the rhythm and the music, but next time that you listen to a song, pay attention to new words and pay attention how the speaker or the singer is joining and linking those words together so that you can honing those listening skills when you listen to native English speakers. And then you can also learn some new words, learn some new structures so you can implement them next time that you are in a conversation with someone else. So I would say that difference between background listening and intensive listening is that background listening is a relaxed form of like hearing. Let's say you just hear the words, but you're not really paying attention. And intensive listening is like a meditation. You focus on the audio, and if you again do this every single day, you'll see how much you'll become aware of new structures in English, and you'll speak more naturally, and you will listen to more audios in an easy way and in a peaceful way. Secret 5: we've already talked about songs, and I have a whole video in which you can capitalize on music to sound like a native English speaker. But music in English is just such a fun way of learning, and I call it fun listening because when I was growing up, I have to admit that even if I lived in South America, I listened to more English than Spanish, and that's what allowed me to speak like a native English speaker essentially, and also work in English and capitalize on career opportunities and all of that. But yeah, so what you can do is the following. Next time that you listen to a song that you enjoy, sing it out loud. Yes, sing it. I don't care if you have a good voice or a bad voice, just sing it. And then what you can do is also look for the lyrics in your phone and then sing it out loud. And then notice new words, note them down, and use tools like Word Reference, Lingui, Merriam-Webster to increase your vocabulary. And you want a challenge, go and search for like music in English in YouTube, put karaoke, and then do some karaoke in English. The other day I actually sang a duet song with one of my students. We were singing Shallow, you know, Lady Gaga. I cannot actually play it here because of copyright issues, but it was so fun, and I noticed how much his pronunciation improved while he was listening to the song. But honestly, if you want a challenge, go and find a rap song. There's a song that's from Hamilton, the musical. It's called Satisfied, and I actually recently uploaded a little example for my students for them to hear how learning English can be fun. You know, it doesn't have to be boring, it can be fun. And the great thing about rapping is that it's so great for fluency because it's challenging. So what you have to do is basically synchronize, you know, what you sing with the rhythm. You have to say the word out loud. Sometimes the rhythm is fast, so you're like, oh my God, please wait for me. But that's exactly what's going to challenge you to increase your fluency in a fun way. And doing some karaoke will also improve your ear, you know, your hearing and your listening skills, because you are learning new rhythms, okay? And you are kind of like, let's say, putting your ear to a test. Okay, so before I reveal the last 3 secrets, I want to know, is it easier for you to understand English, to understand native English speakers, or to communicate like one? You know, I probably know the answer. Most of you are probably thinking it's easier for me to listen and understand than to speak. And I understand, but you're going to improve so much soon. No worries about that. And do not forget to download the Everyday Imitation audio so you can listen and speak everyday life expressions in English. Okay, now let's continue. Okay, secret 6. Do not forget to build vocabulary in English every single day. You have to have the habit. As I explained in this video right here, as a translator, I always have to have the habit of building vocabulary, because if I don't understand a term, for example, the speaker could be talking about medicine, and if I don't know a term, then, you know, I'm gonna be like, oh my God, like, how do I interpret this? So for me, it's very, very important, you know, it's my work as well. But as a professional, you have to constantly be building vocabulary. Because as I explained in one of the secrets, if you don't know an expression or if you don't know a word, it will be harder for you to listen and understand easily to a native English speaker. So one of the techniques that you can use, as I talked about in this video, is subscribing to newsletters and pay attention to new words. Immersing yourself or following social media accounts, Facebook groups that talk about your profession. You can find loads of new words there. When you're watching series as well, put subtitles in English so that you listen to a word, but you also see how it's written. And then you pay attention to new words and say, oh my God, that's a new word. And then you note it down. Now, be concerned about not noting down words in your notebook. I know it sounds weird, but that's one of the best advice that, you know, my teacher of German, he told me. Because when you note down a lot of words in your notebook, they stay in your notebook and not in your head. So next time, be worried that they stay in your head, be worried that you memorize them. And you can, you know, use techniques like listening to focus study music that you can find on YouTube. I'll also link a link below. Or for example, classical music. And so with those new words that you're listening, the best thing that you can do is not noting them down in your notebook, but noting them down in your head. It sounds a little weird, but you understand the point. And then also, when you have the chance of maybe meeting a native English speaker, use those words so that you use them in real life. Remember that it's about living the language. So you accelerate vocabulary learning even more. Use a spreadsheet like this one and put down like the word, the synonym. You know, you can use tools like Merriam-Webster or word reference, and the image, so that your brain associates a new word with an image, and you will learn them a lot faster. Okay, secret 7, do not forget about pronunciation. Okay, it's different how an English learner pronounces to how a native English speaker pronounces, right? I have a whole video, again, I invite you to check it out, also link it below. It's about advanced secrets of pronunciation for professionals, and you'll see how I talk about, for example, the linkage of words. Native English speakers link a lot of words, because a native English speaker wouldn't say, I am going to want to study. They're going to say, I'm going to want to study, right? So the going to on the want to is gonna, wanna. I'm going to want to study, okay? And so if you're not aware of these types of techniques of pronunciation, you may be in a conversation with a native English speaker and you want to understand him, right? So you have to be aware of these types of pronunciation. Now, it's different to how an American pronounces than how a British pronounces or how an Australian pronounces. Just the other day, I was having a chat with one of my cousins, and she moved to Australia, and she was saying how hard it was for her to understand Australians at first. And I asked her, like, how did you improve your listening skills? And she was like, just, you know, the everyday interaction with Australians, listening to them every single day. So that's a proof that you can get better, so do not give up. Now, for example, if you take words like party, you see, an American would pronounce party, a British would pronounce party, right? And if you try and pronounce party, it's like the R and the T are like the RD, party, you know? So you can do this type of exercise. P, D, 5 times, and then you would say party. It works like magic. And I do have a pronunciation sheet where I explain about my pronunciation system. You can download it below so that you can learn more professional words and pronounce them like a native English speaker in the process. But awareness is very, very important. That's what's gonna make you listen better and speak better at the same time. Okay, so secret 8 to improve your listening and speaking skills in English. Habit. This is the most important thing. Habits lead to results, you know? It's like when you go to a gym, you cannot expect to build like a 6-pack if you just go like once, or you go like just 1 week. No, it happens over time. Case in point, that's why I say one-on-one conversations in English are not enough to become fluent and confident. And in my program, for example, I start with something that I call the 1-week language habit building strategy. So my students build the habit first. So they start by listening to audios like just 2-minute audios and then 3-minute audios, and then they end up listening to like 15-minute visualizations in English, and that helps them get into the atmosphere, in the environment of an English speaking scenario. So I love this comment from one of my students where he says like that he's realized how discipline, commitment is what's going to change your English skills, whether they're like speaking and listening, because just by studying a little like every single week, it's not going to be enough, and it's true. Okay, so a very important tip on habit is that you start small. I once made the mistake of studying Chinese. That was not the mistake. I remember that I put in like hours every single day until like I got fed up. I'm like, oh, this is too difficult. That's not good for your motivation. So I advise you that you do not spend hours and hours. You start small and you study like a few minutes every single day, and you'll see how that will build momentum for you to achieve your English speaking and listening goals. Alright, so I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you accelerate those speaking skills and listening skills fast. Now that you learned this tip, what is your plan of action to actually do them, because it's very important to not only watch this video but also do it. So if you want more accountability, and if you want to plan to go from feeling limited, frustrated with your English communication skills to absolutely confident and fluent so that you can capitalize on opportunities coming your way, book a call below, because I do have an amazing methodology called the English Confidence Method. Do not give up, and I am here for you, so do not forget to book a call. We'll all be here waiting for you. Also, do not forget to download the Everyday Imitation Audio and the pronunciation sheet. So many goodies. I'm generous today. Okay, so before I go, subscribe, because I release videos every single Friday on English confidence for ambitious, high-achieving professionals who want to capitalize on the career opportunities coming their way. And give this video a like. Also, do not forget to watch this video next that's on smart ways of how you can improve your English speaking skills. It's going to complement this video and this playlist on confidence building, because one difference about me and any other methods is that I focus a lot on inner confidence so that you can be proactive, so that you can take action on your personal and professional goals. Confidence and fluency go hand in hand, just as speaking and listening go hand in hand. So I see you in the next video. Bye bye.